Hi, this is Nick, the commentator. I would like to welcome you to SmackTalk RC podcast with my boys, Bert Camera and Bobby Watts.
Are you ready? All right. And we are live. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the...
Are we doing... hold on. Pause. Are we doing the live shit or no? You want to do it? Should we do it? Pause that shit. Let's do it.
Do you want to do it live?
Let me get my iPad real quick. That way I have access to my phone. We'll put it right there. No?
Beautiful.
Just give me
It's going to be live.
Give me without warning. Next time we can put a warning.
This freaking guy.
This live stuff so we can focus
So anyone,
on what we need to do.
anyone watching live, we'll look at it later, but we're really not going to. Because I think that would kind of detract from it.
Yeah,
we would get too occupied.
This is an experiment we're doing just to record our podcast while we're showing it live on Facebook just for what? Just for the hell of it.
Yep. Oh, I just scratched my balls. Okay, are you good? Can you put your phone, please, to put all mobile devices in
my phone is in good shape. I'm looking at my
the stream.
It's
already going.
No, not the stream. I'm looking at the stuff I need to talk about. Chill out.
Oh, okay. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the SmackTalk RC podcast. Well, it's already started. We're 2 minutes in. I got outtakes for days.
You're going to have to edit. Okay, go
so
ahead.
Welcome, everybody. This is the SmackTalk RC podcast. I don't know what number this is. I really don't care because we're kind of doing these a little bit in out of order situation, a little bit of an out of order scenario.
Yes.
And,
welcome, everybody.
Yeah, so it's all good. We've been doing a few of these. We're enjoying it because it's kind of laid back. And I've got to say, I'm here with, by the way, just in case you don't know, my name is Bobby Watts, and I'm here with my illustrious co-host.
Hello, Bobby.
Who are you?
I am Bert Kammerer.
And Bert Kammerer does not have real problems. I have to say, this is the best part. So I've known Bert for like a long time now, 10, 12 years. And he does not have real problems. So we're getting ready to set up here. And by the way, we are streaming this live on Facebook. So if you're listening to this on a podcast, then it's already happened live on Facebook. But in future episodes, if it works out, we're going to be streaming this live on Facebook. So facebook.com, just look up SmackTalk RC. Right now we're streaming on Bert's page. So it's Bert Kammerer, public figure. But eventually we'll stream it on SmackTalk RC. So we're getting ready to stream, and you can't find your iPad. And the world falls down. The world falls apart.
Of course it does.
The world completely falls apart.
It's my iPad.
But you're like, babe, where's my iPad? And she's like, I don't know. Have you looked for it? And bless her, God bless her, she'll help you look for it.
Absolutely.
I'd tell you to just go pound sand somewhere else. And
that's why you're not my wife.
Oh, I don't know how she does it, dude. But I see that big wine rack. And
she's awesome. She's awesome.
So then you get your you get the Find My iPhone app. And you're looking, and then you zoom in. Babe, it's down the street. Oh, it's in the RV.
It's in the camper.
Yeah, and
I think it is. Yeah. She thinks it is, but it might not be.
And then you're like, how can I make sure it's the right iPad? I've got 4 of them. How do I? So this is my co-host Bert Kammerer, and Bert Kammerer is an asshole.
Welcome everybody to SmackTalk RC podcast, episode number X.
Yes. So this week, this podcast, we are talking about kind of like how it started our on-screen, on-camera sort of relationship with each other in SmackTalk RC. So perhaps you can kind of jump right in and tell us, what is SmackTalk RC? When did it start? What is it?
So for the people listening that don't know what SmackTalk RC is, SmackTalk RC was a series that was started, obviously, by Bobby Watts and myself.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And the whole purpose of it was to create a centralized, I guess you could say, place, centralized place of information where people could find tips and tricks and instructional, I guess you could say, videos about the RC helicopter hobby.
Yes.
So remind me why we started Smack Talk. It started back in 2000.
Late 2009, so 2010.
Basically 2010. I think we recorded the first episode around November or December of 2009.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Right at the end of 2009.
At Torches,
And
at the Torches Field, which for the listeners that don't know, Torches stands for the Orlando Radio Control Helicopter Society. Is the biggest helicopter club in Orlando,
Florida.
and I would say in the entire state of Florida.
It's nice club. So
is.
we started it because we were very active in the RC heli scene. I mean, every single day we were eat, breathe, sleeping helicopters, and we would help a lot of people at events. I feel like that's kind of how it started. We'd help a lot of people at events and help people at the club, and then we're like, man, there's really not a good centralized place for all this information.
And there were a couple of people out there that were doing videos. I forgot, Ray's videos? Was it called Ray? There was a guy that had some instructional videos. They were older, though.
Raptor Technique was one.
Yeah,
that was a web. You know, there was a lot of like websites and blogs, but no one had really done videos. And when we did this,
not the way we did it, to where you could download it online, and they were 45 minutes to an hour in length and stuff.
There was
like
not
that.
many people giving online instruction.
No, not like that.
So I think certain people, like Alan Zabo, had his DVD, instructional DVD, and Curtis obviously had a few, but no one really. We just wanted to get like really in depth with each topic that we discussed, and just bring like a centralized base of knowledge to the internet. And what we ended up doing was, luckily, so my good buddy here, Bert Kammerer, has a background in like IT, software, that kind of stuff. So you did the whole back end to our website yourself, which is cool.
Put it together in like a heartbeat. It was kind of like half-assed.
Yeah, but dude, you realize like if you didn't have that knowledge, we wouldn't have been able to do this. And
it was cool.
Yeah, because of that, we were able to put it on our own server, and we would charge for it because we had to have some revenue coming in to pay for cameras and the travel and certain things, and to be honest, at the end of the day, to get a few bucks.
And it was funny though that you say that, because I remember in the beginning, we had some criticism about us charging for it.
We did.
We had a bunch of haters. And that kind of dwindled and went away over the course of the next couple, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people appreciated what we did, but we did have some critics. I
think so. But we felt like, I remember this, like we considered getting sponsors to help people, to help pay for costs and stuff. But then we were really worried that it would affect what we would be able to say, what we could say, what we couldn't say. I mean, we would cuss, we would do whatever we wanted because it's our show.
We could cuss, we could talk bad stuff about products, good stuff about products.
Yeah. If a product sucked, we could say it. And I don't know if we ever did, but
I feel like we were honest.
I think so.
Some people would probably think that we were biased towards the products that we personally were endorsed or sponsored by. Right. I disagree. I think that we were very honest about our opinions with regards to. We never said anything negative about any product, but I mean, if you think about it, there's nothing bad out there.
Yeah.
Even to this day, every product that's out on the market that is a legit product put together by a reputable company is a good product.
Unless it's a clone.
Unless it's a clone.
As we heard from Mr. George Van Gensen in our episode 2.
So the main reason why we charged was because, and we still charge to this day, to whatever number of downloads we do these days, which are not many, but
a few.
Was because obviously we had some expenses with this. You know, we had a lot of bandwidth and a server to pay for and to maintain, security on the server and the software on the server and all the bandwidth and everything else. And not to mention, we had to get some equipment. We had to get some wireless microphones, cameras, all kinds of different things. And it took a lot of our time. It really did.
It did. I remember it would be 3 to 5 days a month. Which isn't, but that's for one episode.
Just to record one.
Yeah, recording, and then the person editing and uploading would be another. Because we did everything ourselves. Yeah. And it was cool. So we did it for 3 years, from 2010 to 2010, 2011, 2012. And
I think we did something in 13, no?
We did a little bit, but in that time we did 30 full-length episodes that were an hour long a piece. You had a series called Learning 3D,
12 episodes,
which had 12 episodes, and I had a series called Smack 101, which was 4 to 6 episodes or something like that.
And then we did Did we do
and
something else?
We had we tried to do Smack Talk drones, but that didn't take off as much as
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later. But more or less, so what we did was we had. If you guys haven't seen an episode, I recommend you just go and check something out, because we'd pick a different topic and really elaborate on it for about an hour to hour 15 a piece, and it was like $2-3 an episode, and
some of them were $5.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. You go to Starbucks and you can't even leave that place.
I agree. You can't even buy a Big Mac anymore for that kind of money.
A Big Mac at Starbucks.
Yeah.
But so we just tried to make it where the first episode was engine tuning, nitro engine tuning, because that was the biggest thing by far.
But just you're getting ahead. So how did this get started? You're getting excited because this was fun. This cool. Was a lot of fun. Okay. It was a freaking lot of work, though.
It was.
So hold on. Let me finish this topic real quick.
I'm going to drink my cocktail for like 1 or 2 sips, and then
two sips. Right. The reason why we started, the reason why we charged money is because it took... nice. It took a lot of... It really did take a lot of time, Bobby. Like, thinking about it back in the day, we would spend 3 to 5 days, like you said, for one episode. Mm-hmm. And that was like nonstop work, 3 to 5 days. That was, everything from coming up with the whole thought process of what the episode was going to be about, to finding the location to shoot, to writing the script or preliminary script about the episode, which we always did a lot of improv. We didn't adhere to the script 100%.
Never.
But writing the script, the scenes and where we were going to do it, to actually go on location to shoot it, to do all the production side of the episode, to then working on the post-production side, which included editing and coming up with the thumbnails for the website and things like that, and uploading. And, it took a lot of work. It did take a lot of work. I mean, we're talking 3 to 5 days of nonstop work per episode. Plus, of course, the equipment, the audio equipment, the video equipment, the server rental, the server maintenance, the bandwidth.
I mean, it was an undertaking.
It was quite an undertaking.
We would generally release 1 episode a month, and then little stuff here and there.
And at some point, we were doing more than that, because we were doing a learning 3D series as well as an episode all in 1 month. Right. It was quite a bit of work, I think.
It was a good amount.
But it was a lot of fun.
So when it first started, we had the idea, and I remember the name popped into my head. We were talking to my buddy Will Fannin, White Chocolate, and we were driving together in your little tiny Yaris. You'd go like 90 miles an hour in that thing, all tinted out, and then you'd always get pulled over because the tint was too dark. Anyway, so I remember we're driving, and Will's like, "What are you going to call this?" And then I'm like, "Oh, well, Smack Talk, of course," because we're just, the flying style we used to fly, or still fly, I guess, was generally regarded as smack, and we would talk. So it's called SmackTalk RC, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then Derek Threat came over and recorded a little bumper for us in the beginning. Remember that?
Yeah.
So if you watch season 1, the first bit of us just doing, like in the intro, as some music's playing, we had Derek Threat come out, record some things.
Derek Threat.
Sorry, whatever. Derek. And we used a track from my college band. It was like a instrumental track, so we just threw that in, a nice hard rock metal track. And so we had it, and then it was time to do the first episode at that point.
Yeah, the for those listeners that don't know who Derek Threat was or is, he's still around, of course. Derek was an awesome videographer and editor, and he did a lot of promotional videos for RC helicopters. If you look at old IRCHA trailers or promotional videos,
he did a lot of those.
Las Vegas Fun Fly. Later, he wanted to work for A-Main Hobbies, and he did a lot of A-Main's RC car videos and things like that. It was an amazing, very talented videographer, I guess you could say, and slash editor. I mean, it was a one-man show that did an incredible job. And yeah, he did our first bumper. So
it was cool.
Whatever the first 30 seconds you watch when you watch Smack Talk, that little intro that was all done by him. And then Bobby and I did the newer ones, which weren't as cool, but yeah.
Yeah, we need to get better at editing.
We do.
But that was another thing too. The whole purpose was the fact that we're selling you content. We're not and content and information. We're not selling you like glamour cut, edited, beautifully beautifully recorded piece of art here. No, we'd throw the information together in whatever way we could to get it out there to everybody, and people would just learn from that. It didn't have to be a really nice and beautifully put together and edited video. You look awfully busy over there, Mr. Cameron.
You were talking about Will. We were talking about Will Fanning, and it just reminded me.
Yeah.
It reminded me of a video we did with him, a promotional video.
Oh yeah,
at Birmingham at one of the fun flies. And he wasn't supposed to crash it, right? But he crashed the crap out of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, he.
And I'm trying to find a video so we can tell the audience, the listeners, how
That's
to find the
YouTube
videos.
Page. Go to SmackTalk RC on our YouTube page, and it was called "Why SmackTalk RC."
Is that what it was?
I think
called?
that's what it was.
Yeah.
We can look that up. But
it was crazy. It was funny.
Yeah. So we did that, and then it came time for episode 1. Oh, it's time to go there. So why don't you tell us about episode 1? How did that come to be?
So going back again, I think Smack Talk was your idea. You're like, we should do videos, blah 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 blah.
And you're like, no, of course, you're stupid.
Oh, you're stupid. That's just dumb.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, I think the first episode we recorded was recorded again at Torches.
Yep.
And it was all about Nitro because it was the easiest topic to cover. We had been hounded by questions from everybody asking us, like, how do you tune in? We always had these questions from people, whether it was via email or a Funfly or Facebook. How do you tune your engine?
And tuning was always the most common.
Tuning was the most common problem.
Because when you messed up, there went $300-$400. And
oh yeah,
it was hard.
At least 200. And so it was Nitro tuning. That was the first episode number 1. I think, again, it was recorded end of 2009 at the Torches Field. Some segments. I remember I used to live down in Jupiter, Florida.
Yep.
And I did some segments of the recording down at the Dyer Park flying field, which is right literally by the dump.
Oh yeah, on the hill.
Up on the hill in Palm Beach County.
Yep.
And I did some segments there. We did some segments together in Orlando and so forth.
I did one in Maryland.
And then one in Maryland, and then we released that episode, and we had a lot of issues. We had crappy cameras. We had shitty microphones.
Yeah. But everybody, I don't know. We got a lot of good feedback. A lot of the content in there people seem to like. And I'll never forget this. This is hysterical. So I remember the night we released it. It was a Thursday night. Don't ask me how I know. I know because I was in college. I was like a senior in college when we released this. And we were at the country bar. Every Thursday night we'd go to the country bar. And the episodes were linked to like our PayPal account or whatever. And I remember you texted me like, hey, dude, it's about to go live. I'm like, yeah, whatever. We'll see what this does. And I remember my email just blowing up from PayPal transactions. And I'm like, guys, $2 beers are on me. I got this one tonight. It
was cool.
It was awesome. And take a guess to how many episodes we sold of number 1 in the 6 years that it's been out there. Take a guess.
3,000.
You're pretty darn close. 3,050 of episode 1. I think that's a lot, dude.
That's decent considering it wasn't a free product.
No.
You
had to find it. You had to pay for it. You had to figure out how to log in. It's not...
And it was a pain in the ass too, Bobby, because like for most people, you go to YouTube, you type in something, you watch the video, you close your browser, you're done. But even if it was cheap, it was like $3 or whatever it was. Still, like when you think about it, like it's kind of a commitment for somebody to go, because it wasn't like it wasn't difficult, but it wasn't like a totally simple process.
No.
You had to go to the website.
You had to download it.
You had to register and pay. And then finally you get to access the member area, I guess you could say. Yeah. And then you get 3 downloads. And obviously we had to do that to prevent people from distributing the content.
Right.
So it wasn't hard, but it wasn't super easy. So considering the fact that the hobby had been accustomed to your usual YouTube flight video lasting anywhere between 2 and 10 minutes for free.
Right.
And all of a sudden we had a completely revolutionary, I guess,
Yeah,
literally
I think
you could
was.
say revolutionary, totally different format. You're talking a full length, almost like a TV show,
Right.
crappy production to say the least. But, you know, in terms of the production quality, but in terms of the content, you know, good information, whatever.
Right.
45 minutes long. Some of them were over an hour and a half long, some of them, right?
And do you remember on episode 1, towards the end, what we had in there? It wasn't all RC Heli intricate knowledge. Do you remember what occurred at the end?
Remind me.
We had an interview with Master Rick.
Master Rick.
And with Smack Talk, we wanted to do interviews with just everyday flyers at our local fields, all the way up to Curtis Youngblood and Scott Gray and Alan Zabo, Marcus Kim. I mean, I think we did a good job with interviews then. We interviewed everybody.
We did.
And it introduced a lot of characters. It brought a lot of different points of view to the world, and it was really cool. I think the interviews were a part that everybody really liked.
And thinking about like 3,000 downloads doesn't sound like much at all, but I mean, if you look at some of my videos, I'm looking at YouTube. I have a video that's 7 years old, flying some conversion for a T-Rex 700 that has 500,000, 500,000 views.
Aren't we just spiffy?
But because it's free. So when you think about paid content and those kinds of numbers, because numbers were decent overall for the entire offering of Smack Talk as a whole, the numbers were pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was funny though, because I feel like you were saying, we had Rick, right? The interview with Rick. So the listeners would not get it unless they've watched or they've seen who Rick is.
It would take a few of them. At first, it's like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, and then after you watch Rick again and again and again, Rick becomes sort of like your best buddy, sort of like character. Yeah.
Cartoon character.
You get to know him.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, though, because we wanted to make Smack Talk not only about sharing technical information with the audience, but we also wanted it to be fun. It had to be fun.
Yep.
So we didn't really ever talked about it in terms of like, it wasn't like we had a meeting and we said, this is what we need to do. But we had the same common goal in mind. Make it informative, make it entertaining, right? And then so over the course of the next few episodes, we developed this sort of like a deal to where we acquired the new actors. We introduced the new actors or the new protagonists
So
to the show.
Who else are you referring to?
So obviously, Master Rick was
one,
and then later on, of course, Chicken Wing. So Doc Wang, Ray, our good friend Ray Morey.
We gotta have him on this podcast.
He
He's the
needs to be
biggest
a guest.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
He is the biggest sweetheart in the world, and he'll give you so much crap. But at the end of the day, he has the best manners out of anyone I know. Don't mind the cussing. Don't mind the cussing.
Yeah. Without the cussing.
Yeah, exactly. So how about this? I'm just going to scroll through some of our episodes, and we'll just talk about some titles. And if anything sticks out to you, we can kind of get into it. So, what we did in a lot of these episodes is some of them were really technical, so more about wrenching and setting up. Some of them were more about flying. So some of them were about traveling. So a little bit of everything. So we did episode 1 about tuning, and then we're like, okay, well, let's try to appeal to even more people.
Yeah.
So episode 2, we called it Sport Pilot to 3D Maniac. And that's where I felt like most of the guys at our club were, where they could do flips, they could do TikToks, they could do rolls, but they couldn't put it together and add in
a 3D routine.
Yeah. And we taught people about that. And I think we had an episode with an interview with Scott Gray with that. And Scott's just such like a stand-up dude. That was just really cool.
He's been MIA for a while.
He has been.
Yeah.
I miss that guy.
Yeah, he was cool.
You know the interesting thing about Scott, when he would do XFC, did you ever see his call sheet?
Yeah.
So
Very detailed.
Yeah. So if Bert and I do XFC with a call sheet, we'll have 4 or 5 things to hit. Like, it's so-and-so, make sure you line up to get ready for this part. But his wife, Lauren, I think it was. Lauren. She would stand there, and every 3 to 4 seconds, she would call out the maneuver. It's like, and he would nail it every time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And for the new listeners, Scott Gray is one of the best in the world. He's been kind of out of it for a little bit, I guess you could say. I haven't seen him being very active in the scene, but Scott Gray is an really awesome cool guy. He started with F3C, precision flying, won a lot of contests all over the world, and he did 3D as well. And he's kind of a legend too. I see him as a legend.
Yeah, really. I think so. Yeah. So let's see. So episode 345, we did setups, Vegas, and large electrics.
Vegas was fun, man. Vegas was awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Did I go to that one? Oh, I did go to that one.
Yeah, of course you did.
Oh, we interviewed Curtis, Nick, Alan.
We did.
Finless Bob.
We started the episode showing people how we packed to go on a trip. And,
I was in my shitty college apartment. That was... Man, those are some good times. So this was back in 2010, and episode 3, everything about setups, was only flybarred nitro. Dude, things of like we could do another episode today about
setups. Yeah,
and it's a different world.
Yeah, it is.
And then when we did large electrics, I remember we had just gotten Ray Namovi's conversion kit for the T-Rex 700, and that's what we used. Remember that?
Look at that shit. Look at your phase on that thumbnail there on that picture next to episode number 5. You look like you're 11.
Well, I was.
You look younger than Rick's son in The Walking Dead.
So Coral. So I was. How old was I here?
You were like 20,
21.
You look like you're 12.
2021. And we had
episode
6. We had competitions, demos, and showing off. For those of you out there, if you want to see a cool episode, that's a good one. Look at episode 6. And Master Rick has the Jesus Ride shirt on.
It's funny.
That was awesome.
It's funny though.
And Smitty's in that one. Smitty's in that.
I have some very good memories about that. So number 1, I think that's one of the very few episodes that we have that is not outdated by any means, because competitions are competitions, and even to this day, even though the maneuvers have gotten more technical, the helicopters have gotten faster, the flight controllers have gotten better, blades are more efficient, servos are faster. If you think about it, the bases of competitions are the same, and like this episode is still very current in my mind.
We showed mixing music, we showed different, but I might disagree with you. I think a lot of our content in Smack Talk is, which kind of brings us to a later discussion that we'll get into later about why we kind of stopped doing it. But I would argue that mostly everything you see here still applies to today.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's mostly basics. And,
I agree.
And basics are always there.
But some of the things are more dated in terms of some, like you said, the setup episode is really dated, whatever. But I do agree that a lot of the stuff still applies to today. Like going back to Large Electrics, number 5, one episode behind the one we're talking about. The motors are maybe a little bit more efficient. The batteries are higher C rating. Some of these things are a little bit improved, but the basis, the basics are the same.
Right.
Everything we talk about on this episode is absolutely valid even to today's date, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if I look, I'm scrolling ahead here to episode 10. So episode 10 was our last one in 2010. And I remember we were at the Mulberry Fun Fly, and we stayed in this shitty freaking hotel with cockroaches all over the place. Yeah. And that's called Going Flybarless. And that's like the first time we ever introduced Flybarless to it. And I remember you were testing the Align 3G in that episode.
That thing was horrible.
And you crashed the shit out of it. And then as soon as it crashed, you turn around and you're like, this freaking piece of shit.
That thing sucked.
And we had to edit it. Remember that? So we had to edit that one. Because but dude, the first version of that was just horrible.
But listen, going back to episode number 6, competition
with Master Rick.
Master Rick. So I'm just remembering this. We were in Maryland. I had come up. We were going to fly together before XFC.
Yeah, and then go right to XFC.
And go right to XFC together. Yeah. And we were shooting this episode there right before, a week before XFC.
Right.
And Rick came along the flying field as usual. He tagged along, and I think it was your idea or mine. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But we felt like he should do the intro to the episode.
Right.
Like, we always did this preamble thing.
Right,
a few seconds, minute long. This is about this, blah, blah, blah. Welcome to Smack Talk. And we're like, let's just shoot Rick and see what he does. Dude, he was a freaking natural.
First take
on camera. It was like unbelievable. Like, he looked like he could be doing a TV show tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not a director. I have very little knowledge of directing and producing or anything like that. But to me, that performance, that first shot was like perfect. Picture perfect.
You can't beat it. And in that
natural.
episode too, I remember we mic'd ourselves during XFC, which is kind of, no, I don't think anyone's done that since.
Nobody had ever done that.
And so you could hear, I mean, as soon as that happens and you and I are out there talking to each other, I mean, excuse me, that's all adrenaline. So whatever we said, that's real, dude. Like, that's not real. Yeah, that's nothing scripted.
Because honestly,
or
like,
whatever.
we got mic'd, and I don't know about you, but when I went to fly during that
nervous.
competition, you get a little bit of jitters, and
Sure.
you get, you're a little bit nervous, but by the time I walked out to the fly line and I had the helicopter on the ground, you carried my helicopter, whatever, put it on the ground, and it was like, the flight line boss or whatever gives me the go ahead, and the music starts playing, and I spool up the helicopter and I start flying. Mm-hmm. I had completely forgotten that I was wired, that I had a microphone on me. Like, that's like
a good thing.
Not even
that's a really good
not
thing.
even remotely thinking about that. I was just totally in focus with the actual competition flight. So that was cool.
It's good.
That was cool.
It's good. So I'm scrolling ahead here. Another one that sticks out, episode 13, we went to Australia. It's called Down Under. And I just have to say it. The traveling was one of the coolest parts of doing RC Helis full time. And in Australia, we had such a cool group of people there who brought us over.
Yeah, definitely.
Bill Vale,
yeah.
Alex, I can't say your freaking last name, Genevicia, whatever. Gavin, Dan, Johnny from New Zealand. Remember, just a lot of really cool people. And I remember, dude, we would get hammered in Australia.
Steve from New Zealand.
Like, dude, those guys party, man. Those guys party hard. And Stuart,
and Bill rented this apartment
remember
near
that?
Coffs Harbor. And that was so much fun.
Okay, do you remember? This was this is my most outstanding memory. For this one sticks out the most. So we'd go to the Fun Fly during the day, and he rented this house or whatever. And we came back.
It's like a penthouse.
It was
a penthouse.
Badass. So we came back and had this huge backyard. And in Australia, they have these things called cane toads. Remember the cane toads? Yeah. And they're these toads that weigh, I don't know, half a pound or whatever. And they're a pest over there. And like, if your dog licks a cane toad, your dog will die. It'll puke its guts out and it'll die. So like,
it's like a big ass frog.
It's a huge freaking
nasty ass frog.
But it's bad. Like, exterminators just come out and kill them. And so we go out there. We're like, Bill, what the heck is this? Oh, mate, that's a cane toad, mate. We gotta club them, mate. We're like, really? We have to club them? So they give us 2 9-irons, and we're out back drinking Jaeger, just getting blitzed. And you'd have to whack the toad on the head first. So you'd have to give it a good smash to like stun it, and then you could really take your time and line it up. And dude, there were a lot of cane toads.
What about?
And that machine that we destroyed, remember that?
What about
the gong? The gong.
What about the which one was the one we did that you flew while I was sitting? I don't know. I think it's on that episode where I was sitting under this gazebo.
Oh, right.
And then we just go running out, and the machine comes and crashes.
Yeah,
that's not the gong.
But
you did the gong
up
by yourself the year before.
Oh, I guess I did.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But the gazebo one, we had this helicopter. It was I forget what it was called. An Elias?
LEQ.
LEQ. That thing was bad.
That thing was terrible.
That was very bad.
It was a freaking blatant copy of a Raptor.
So, but with a shitty head. And I remember we built it for so Bill was like, mates, I have this brand new kit for you guys. You can do whatever you want with it. We can crash it. We can
He wanted to have it crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he wanted a spectacular crash.
So we'd go out, we'd hit the toads, we'd come back, and then we'd build the machine. And I remember I had one job to do. I had to tighten the fly bar. That was it. And you guys did all the rest. I don't know. I was helping other people with something or else or whatever. So we're out there and we're doing this bit where we were going to crash it on purpose. And do you remember this? We're up there flying. And what happens? The fly bar loosens and it slides to one side and it gets all unstable. And then I just had to crash it into the grass somewhere.
That was funny.
It was very bad. It didn't go so well.
It's funny though, because the episode after all that was episode 14. And it's titled Mikado V-Bar.
Yep.
And that was done by me.
You did that one.
Now you fly Mikado V-Bar. But back in those days, Mikado sucked,
I
according
flew
to you.
it. I flew it before that.
You're a Futaba.
I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it. I flew it 2 years before that. I didn't like it.
Futaba.
If anyone watches...
You're a Futaba. Come on, say it. You're a Futaba fanboy. Oh, yeah.
I'm a Futaba consultant.
This thing sucks.
I still am a Futaba consultant. Hello? I flew the V-Bar in the first one competition in 2010. And for whatever it was, the geometry, the machine I was flying, whatever. But I didn't like it. I didn't think it flew that well. And then I got the 750 on my T-Rex 700, and that thing flew freaking awesome. But if you put the 750 on another machine, it didn't fly so
But
well.
it was funny because we had so many more downloads on that episode 14, Mikado V-Bar's title.
Did we?
Compared to the episode 16 about the Futaba 750. Nothing against Futaba.
Oh, right, just to show it, yeah.
Yeah, and nothing against Futaba. I mean, Futaba is an awesome company, and I have a lot of personal respect for Futaba. But something about that 750, dude, it just never clicked with anybody.
So
Don't you
for
agree,
episode 14, we had 1,600 downloads, and the 750 with episode 16, we had 700 downloads.
Yeah. But don't you agree
So,
that even though nothing against Futaba.
No. I think Futaba painted themselves into a corner where you needed a Futaba receiver in order to run it.
Exactly.
I think that was the biggest problem.
It couldn't work for anybody else other than Futaba people.
And then the problem was Mr. Yamamoto, the designer of it, retired. And it just kind of went dormant for a few years.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest thing. Let's see. So scrolling ahead here.
Oh, episode 17. All about our rotations. You know what that brings
Costa
memories?
Rica and Argentina.
Because we were... No. Costa Rica.
Both. Costa Rica and Argentina.
But that started in Costa Rica because we recorded a parallel to this episode. We had the Learning 3D series.
Right.
So we recorded an episode there about transitions and putting things together. And then we also recorded a section or a part of this episode 17 about our rotations. That was fun.
Yeah.
Those were 2 fun trips we did that year.
Those were great hospitality. I mean, those guys are just, we can't say it enough. Those guys, we're going to have a whole episode on traveling abroad and just tell stories from abroad.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was cool. We had some good ones in here. And it's funny because you can see the content. So episode 1, 2, 3 is about flying, setups, tuning. And episode 19, 20, 21 is gassers, the Blade MCPX, and large electrics part 3. So you can see we start to run out of content.
Well, there's something crucial. There's something crucial that happens here. And that was kind of cool because...
Do tell.
I want to share that.
Okay, I'm listening.
So we went to Costa Rica, Argentina. We did episode 17. We also did Learning 3D series Transitions, I think was the name of the episode. I can't remember the number of the episode.
Something silly.
But then soon after that, we came back to the U.S. and my wife Susie and I lost our jobs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We used to work for Ready Helly.
Now I remember.
And it's not worth disclosing the reasons, but there were reasons powerful enough. So we lost our job. And I remember I came to you and I'm like, dude, I need help. We had no income. We had nothing. We're zero. So I'm like, dude, let me just keep Smack Talk to myself. All the income we make from this between now and the end of the year. It was, granted, it was I think it was
3 months. I think it was 3 months.
It was October 1st. So it was October, November, December. Let me keep Smack Talk and then we'll do the same with you later. Let me just get on my feet because I was we were really scared shitless.
Yep.
To say the least. And so you kindly agree to that. So I went ahead on my own and I recorded the next, I think, I don't know, 3 episodes?
3 or 4.
Three.
One.
So
two.
I did 18,
1, 2, 3.
which was during the trip to Switzerland.
Yep.
And that's a good episode for the audience. Like, it's funny though, because like the people that look up that Tarek Al-Sadi is a good pilot, you have got to watch this because it's cool.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of older because it's still flying flybar and everything else.
Right.
You can really get some insights as to how he flies, what he does. This is just a good overall episode.
And please watch in HD.
Watch in HD.
But I have to say, hold on, side note. Tarek is the nicest guy I've ever
he's
met.
awesome.
Dude, he's the nicest guy in the
sweet.
world. What a nice guy. Hello, Tarek, if you're watching.
Hello, Tarek.
Listening, watching.
Zirzigla Tarek.
Dude, Tarek's
He taught me some words.
Tarek,
He's
you got to
awesome.
come over here to US, man. I know you won't, but
No, he won't.
We'd love to have you.
Then I did 19, which was with Carrie Shirley and Al.
Toxic Al.
Toxic Al. That was cool. About gas helicopters, kind of an unusual topic, not really mainstream within helicopters.
Yeah.
And then I did the Blade MCPX, which was really cool. And then I did. That's when I did the DVD. I did the Learning 3D DVD.
Yep.
Part 1 and Part 2, which includes the Learning 3D series, and it's still available for purchase through a dealer or download through the website.
Right.
And then we got back together and we did episode 21, which was Large Electrics Part 2.
That would have been season 3.
Yeah, and that's still current to this day if you think about it. Like,
We talked about like Contronic ESCs, Castle ESCs, Scorpion ESCs. It's kind of the modern stuff.
the
that
only
people
thing
are running
that's new today that did not exist back in the day was like Hobby Wing. Hobby Wing has become a very popular
Yeah, they're getting
ESC.
big.
Other than that, like, if you think about it, everything's pretty much current, right? I mean,
I mean, I would argue, yeah,
it's pretty close.
Like I'm scrolling even further. So in season 3, our last full season, we did Large Electrics part 3. I guess we did another one, part 3 or 4. Flight simulators, troubleshooting tips, rotor blades. So as you can see, like we were running out of content ideas, and we really were. We were stretching. We were digging for content, and I would argue that's one of the main reasons why we didn't do any more episodes, because, you know, episode 27 is on the go. It's about traveling, which, yeah, if you're traveling, it's cool, but it's you know, we were really stretching there for some content, and it was tough. I mean, that was really hard to just come up with fresh content that we felt like would really benefit people, because we didn't want to do anything that was crappy, you know?
I agree. I think it got to this point where we were really out of content. Like,
Yeah.
we had taken these topics and we had expanded on them for 45 minutes, an hour and a half, and we were making them. I guess you could say we technically try to stay away from brand specific topics.
Right.
We were making them
If
more,
we could.
If we could.
But if someone's popular, like when you did the MCPX, that's smart.
I did
because a lot of
MCPX.
people had those things.
Yeah, I did MCPX. I think we did a Goblin episode. It was one of the short episodes we did, because we also have shorts in
Yep.
between all these, and Learning 3D, and we had Smack 101, which was for total newbies. But we try to stay away from brand-specific topics. We did, sure, Mikado V-Bar. We did Goblin, this, that. But MCPX. But overall, those are probably 3 of the only ones we ever did that were brand-specific.
Yeah.
Or very specific to a very narrow subject. Our subjects were more broad.
Right.
So with that being said, it was only just a matter of time before we really totally run out of things to do
Sure.
or ideas.
I agree. And then the last 2 that we ever did, I think the last 3, episode 28, 29, 30, I was in the same situation. I was low on cash, and I said, hey, Bert, do you mind if I take Smack Talk myself and do the same thing as you did? And you graciously agreed. And Bert, can I have you please just scroll and tell me what was episode 29? Can you tell me that?
Episode 29?
Yeah, while you're looking there on your phone. Can you
Oh my God.
I feel like this story needs to be told.
You have to tell the story. I was not there that day.
Episode 29
But I
is
saw-
called Crashing.
And I saw the aftermath.
Inspecting and repairing. So let me just break it down a little bit. So episode 29, I figured, great, a lot of people crash. It's part of it. And let's talk about the common things that break, how to tell if something's bent, what breaks in a really hard crash. So I go to my good buddy Chicken Wing, Doc Wing. If you saw him on the show, we've talked about him before, but Chicken Wing. Ray, his name's Ray. Ray loves to crash. Ray crashes all the freaking time. So here's what we do. Ray says, hey, I've got an old T-Rex 600. I don't mind crashing for the sake of the show. I said, Ray, no problem. I'll buy you whatever parts you need, whatever we break. So I said, Ray, how about this? You're just going to fly out in the field and do a simple TikTok or something and just crash. So we go out to the field. We set up 4 freaking cameras at torches, all out in the field, looking at different angles of the field. So right before we're about to go up, I inspect his machine to make sure it can withstand the 15 seconds of flight needed to crash. And I'm like, Ray, your tail rod is loose. Oh, and he starts cussing. You know how Ray freaking cusses.
It was funny.
He's like, oh, freaking motherfucker, it's fine. So, okay, Ray, it's fine. So Ray hovers. He goes out there. And then the tail lets go. The tail completely lets go. And what is it? What do you do when the tail lets go? What are you supposed to do? Hello? You're not paying attention. He's on his Facebook. He's probably looking at the comments trying to see what people are saying.
I'm listening.
What do you do when the tail lets go?
He just, instead of like hitting throttle hold,
yes. So
he just tries to fight it.
He gave full collective. Full collective. Ray gave full collective.
He tries to fight it.
And then what happens? It goes right over his head.
I don't know if it was full collective. It was all kinds of stick inputs just to try to. He thought he could save
it.
The
tail goes out. He gives as much collective as he can for a second or two. It's over his head. It goes behind us. He then hits hold. And guess what it does? It hits the shed of torches and then hits the shit out of the roof of my car. And he crashed into my freaking brand new freaking car. And he hit the roof. He hit the side. So it landed in my car, still idling.
The funniest shit in the world is the blade is still...
It's still there at torches.
It's still stuck through the roof.
Yeah.
So if you go to the torches field in the city of Ocoee, Ocoee, Florida, 4225 Ocoee Popka Road.
It's still there.
Where we do the blowout, you will see that blade sticking through the roof. And the guys...
So he hit it, and
the guys put some like silicone or whatever because the roof was leaking. Yeah, so they put silicone or I don't know what the hell, some sealant, but the blade is still through it. And so the helicopter crashed and not only like freaking poked a hole in the roof, but it actually like bounced off into your car.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours, you had a new car.
No.
Come on.
No. I drove it like that for a while.
You're full of shit.
No, I drove it
within
like that.
a handful of days.
No.
You got pissed off.
It was a month or two. Was
it really?
And I drove it around, and then I remember going to the dealership to trade it in, and I'm like,
how bad was it?
So very bad. I mean,
was it fucked up?
The roof was to the point of not repair. Like you could Bondo the shit out of it.
No way.
Yeah. So the guy. So I take it.
Did it do the chicken dance on top of the car?
Did the chicken dance in the car? Because my door was open. And of all the cars to hit, he hit mine. So I go to the dealer, and the dealer's the guy's like salesman's like, so sir, do you have it? How would you rate the exterior? I'm like, 2, 3. Well, what's the problem? And I showed him. He's like, well, what happened here? I'm like, it's a long story. I don't want to get into it. So I go back and I'm signing a bunch of papers, and one by one, I see more and more of the dealers coming out, and there's 10 salesmen gathered around my car, and so that one of them comes in, they elect a leader. He comes in and like, okay, you have to tell us. We can't figure it out. What the hell happened to your car? So that was chicken.
So
and AMA offered to pay for it,
but
I never. It was like $3,000 worth of damage.
That would have been more. Was the whole car fucked up, like in terms of like scratches everywhere?
No, it was the roof and the right door and the right interior. But
dude,
it was the roof.
That's a lot of money to fix.
But the car was only worth like $9,000.
That's what I mean. That's a lot of money to fix.
Yeah, but they took it. They traded it. I got like $5,000 for it. Done. Nice. Take it. So thank you, Ray.
They sold it to another Ray Morey.
So yeah, that was it. We ended the full length series on a detailed look at flybar lists. That one I did by myself. And we really haven't done another. We haven't really done another full length episode since then, except for SmackTalk Drones. And we only did one episode because we just saw the numbers weren't there. And if I had to guess, I think it's because partially the people who do helis aren't really into drones. I get it. Totally fine. I totally get it. But I also think too that in 2010, 11, 12, the way we consume media now in 16, almost 17 is so different. Wouldn't you agree?
It's funny though too, because when you think about it, if we really would have, let me see how I can put this. Drones or FPV quads or multi-rotors would have been impossible to do the way we did helicopters.
What do you mean?
With helicopters, we could pick a topic and we could expand on that topic. So, we talked about rotor blades, we talked about flight controllers, we talked about, setups and nitro tuning and everything else.
Right.
If you would have wanted to do that with multi-rotors, it would have been impossible. Because if we would have released an episode about something, I don't know, flight control boards today,
right,
it literally would have been obsolete 6 to 8 weeks later.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating.
No. By the time people see it, it's
you look at software on multi-rotors like
yeah.
Clean Flight or Beta Flight or now Race Flight. Dude, it's 2 months. It's just a fucking...
That's all it's got.
It's frustrating.
I'm offended by that word.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It changes within 2 to 3 months. Is different.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think that's why that didn't really take off. And we didn't do another one. We get it. The writing was on the wall there. But I would totally be, so, kind of recap, like I would totally be down to do more episodes. But I'm concerned that the numbers aren't there of the people currently flying. I might
for
be wrong.
RC helis, you mean?
Yeah. But and then also too, like I said, a lot of the stuff we covered is timeless. In the
So nitro tuning is basically the same.
That hasn't changed.
Has not changed.
Pumps and regulators, but that only makes it easier.
The V bar. Sure, we could do something about the Neo with the new V control.
Right.
There's new systems out there, but a lot of the stuff is still the same.
Yep.
The electric technology is the same. Maybe the batteries are better. The motors are more efficient.
Blades are the same.
Blades are the same. There's a couple, 2, 3 different
we
brands
never
on the market.
Speed. We never did speed.
We didn't do speed.
But
yes.
I feel like speed is a really small market.
It's a very small market.
But we discussed it. We could do it, but just it never
300 to
really,
500 people worldwide. Yeah,
maybe
it's tiny.
And each kit sells for how much? If you want like a Heinzlet,
oh my God, $2,000 plus.
That's it.
Whatever, yeah,
I thought they were like $5 or something.
Well, by the time you load it up, yeah.
No, but just for the kit.
No. I don't really know. I might be totally way off this, but
right.
But I think it's about $2,000. But or 2 or whatever, mid 2s. But I agree, there's not a big market. So what else is there? Everything that we've done, and this is, it's funny you bring this up because this is interesting because this is really the reason why we stopped. Mm-hmm. We didn't stop because we got lazy. We didn't stop because we had a fight. We didn't stop because we didn't get along. We didn't stop because we didn't want to do it anymore. We just literally run out of good ideas.
Yeah.
I had a lot of feedback, and I'm sure you did, from a lot of people saying, hey, why don't you do a video about how to set up the tail on this thing or whatever. Like, sure, there were so many things we could have done, but that was not our show format. Our show format was minimum 45-minute long episodes touching on a broad subject.
Right.
To do 10-minute deals about, how to center your tail servo. To us, that was just not, it wasn't the essence and the core of what we had in mind back in the day. So in terms of 1 hour long episodes, pick a subject and expand on it, I feel like, and I'm sure you agree with me, that we covered pretty much everything there was to cover, right?
Yep. I would argue so. I think we definitely did.
Yeah.
So
I don't see anything else that we... Sure, like you said, speed. I mean, if you really start thinking about it so many years afterwards, you could come up with 2 or 3 new ideas on things to do.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. So I would put this out there to the users. Like, if you guys are interested in us doing one, I'm not opposed to it because our system's still set up. That's really the hardest part. So we can upload content. We can do all that. But to any of your listeners or viewers, write to us. Social media is just so huge. So please just get in touch with us. Share this, retweet this, repin this, do whatever you can to get the word out there and like tell us what you want. Because if we can see that the numbers are there, like if it's only 1 or 2 people asking, then I hate to say it, but we can't justify it. But if it's a large group of people wondering how to inspect the ball link, then sure, we're going to go ahead and do it.
Give us ideas.
Yeah. So
Give us ideas.
We would totally be down to doing that, I think.
Not saying we're going to do it, but if like you're saying, Bobby, if there's enough interest, sure, we will consider it.
So all right, so we're wrapping up here in a little bit. So I think give me numbers. So numbers from Smack Talk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me numbers.
All right. So
I'm sure the audience is curious.
So we started Smack Talk in 2010. Like I said, I was in college in a bar when Smack Talk went live. That showed where my priorities were. So in the time that we had it, we sold. Take a guess of how many individual files we sold. So like how many Learning 3D Smack, like all the episodes, everything.
30,000.
82,000.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, I would say. I think that's pretty solid. And I'm scrolling here through a lot of our customers. And the customers here it's just totally unbelievable. I'm scrolling live as we speak, okay?
How many customers did we have?
About 10,000. About 10,000 customers. And obviously from like US, UK, Canada.
Yeah, considering
I'm just
how small the
I'm just
hobby
reading
is.
this live, right? So customer like 9750, right? Mm-hmm. Is from Sweden. We have Finland. We have Belgium, Germany, Gibraltar, Guatemala, New Zealand, Spain, Hungary, Poland, Philippines, Ireland. I mean,
dude, that's awesome.
I think it's cool to see that many people are so involved with helis to the point of finding our videos.
And considering the fact that 10,000 people in this RC helicopter industry, I've always had this idea in the back of my mind, and I might be way off here, that there aren't that many people into RC helicopters around the world.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Not at this level that we're talking about.
Yep.
When you consider the little toys you buy at, small toy store or airport type
mall.
thing at the mall. Sure. When you count even Blade helicopters, Blade 3, whatever, 450s and things like that. Sure, there's a lot of people. But when you get to this higher level, Goblin 380 style level or to T-Rex 450 back in the day, all the way up to 700 class T-Rexes and Gowies and Synergies and things like that. I feel like at this higher level, there are very few people around the world.
And it's becoming fewer, I think.
And I honestly think that even back in the prime, and I'm just throwing these numbers here, and this is just based on me speculating, looking at numbers and doing a lot of research online. I doubt there's more than 50,000 people worldwide that do it at this very high level.
I think
high level.
I think so.
So if you think that we had 10,000 subscribers, that's a fifth of the world market. That's really good.
I think it's pretty good.
And again, this is like specialized RC helicopter stuff.
Right.
This is not including the guy that went to the hobby shop and bought a Blade 450X and took it home and crashed it and gave up. This is at this level where you belong to a club. You're building your own stuff. You're getting high-end things.
Sure.
Tuning your own flight controllers, learning 3D, quote unquote, and doing like maneuvers that require some type of training. I feel like there's very few people around the world that do this.
And if you remember HeliPros, one of the biggest, helipros.com, one of the biggest online retail shops, I was told that when they kind of stopped their business, they had about 50,000 customers in their database. So I think you're about right. And they were around from maybe early 90s to probably 20 years, I think. They're probably around for 20 years. So that's a good amount of customers. So those are our numbers we're looking at there. We obviously didn't get rich off of it, but it was very cool that in times of need, it supported you and Susie. I think that's cool as hell.
Yeah,
that's just awesome.
Cool.
In college, it helped me pay rent, helped me take out less money for student loans. So we first have to really say thank you to anyone.
Yeah, thank you to everybody.
I don't
that
think we got to that yet. So,
yeah.
but really, thank you to anybody who purchased an episode and watched it and maybe had a laugh or learned something. That's really all we wanted.
And granted that we did work hard to do what we did.
Yeah,
and
but not. It's at the same time. At the same time, though, it's just we're also very. Oh, you broke your mic. Unbelievable.
No,
but we're also very lucky to be able to share this information and have people and be able to charge $3 a pop.
But what I'm saying is, it's not like we didn't enjoy it. Sure, it was fun work, but it was work.
Yeah.
We worked hard to do it.
Absolutely. It absolutely was. But at the same time, I think it's just once again, I just want to say like thank you to everybody who did help us, who did buy our episodes and supported us. So Bert really messed up his mic. So if anyone's watching on Facebook Live, we're going to watch Bert really mess up his microphone here that I just nicely set this up on this crappy table. So so as we are approaching the end of the episode, I guess I'll take over here for a little bit. So as we're approaching the end, once again, we are live on Facebook right now under Bert's page. So it's at Bert RC. And I think we should do some questions from the viewers. So I know
By the way, your microphone setup sucks.
Yeah, but the microphones are good. You just don't know how to use it. I told you, just don't touch it. Have I touched my mic the whole time? No. You just can't stop dicking with shit.
I like to touch my mic.
If anyone's there, if anyone has some comments, I see Papa Gator. Gator, what's up? And Smitty is going to wash Bert's balls. Yes, he is. And so I see some people on Facebook here on Facebook Live. So if, at the end of maybe every podcast, we can take some questions or comments. If you guys like this, we'll keep doing it. Hopefully we'll do it on the SmackTalk RC page one day. But right now, you're the most famous out of all of us. You have like 15,000 people on your page. So more people look at your page than anything. So we're live on we're live on Bert's page right now.
Blair Airwing, I would be very into a series covering the various big flying competitions and events. Event coverage, pilot interviews, vendor interviews, product intros, flight videos with your commentary.
We did that. Heli Masters, 3D Masters, we did that.
Heli Masters, 3D Masters.
We'd walk through the tent and just
XFC,
talk to people.
Yeah.
We kind of did that. Or let's see.
It would be nice to do that like on a constant basis, like throughout the events, but we just don't have
it gets
the
too
time.
busy. It gets too busy. Yeah. So Steve Graham, are there any maneuvers you guys are currently working on? No.
I think Bobby gave up on maneuvers years ago, and did I.
Here's how I figured out. Here and it hit me this year at the blowout. So here's my flying style, right? So I love music. I've always been a music guy. So on one end of music, you have the technical shredding freaking people who know all the theory. They can do this and this and that. They can do everything in the world. But then at the end of the day, you listen to a riff like you listen to a Metallica simple riff, or you listen to like a simple AC/DC riff or something like that, like Back in Black, right? Mm-hmm. Timeless. Mm-hmm. So if you just keep doing what you do, clean lines, real simple, but present it well, that's all I need to do. So I think I can just continue to cruise.
You're older now.
I just don't care as much anymore now.
This is funny. Joel Rickardson. You should put cool stuff on those shelves as a bonus to your viewers. I agree.
Oh yeah. Here we have some. This is Susie's exercise.
Yeah,
this
area. This is an exercise room.
Hey,
There's
show
really
us that
nothing
purple
here.
thing. Get that purple thing out. So what do you do with this, Bert?
I have no freaking idea.
Come on.
I don't exercise.
You know what to do with this.
No
Dude,
idea.
What do you think that this thing does?
The listeners will have no idea, but sure.
Well, Bert uses this every night before bed. So,
Barry Pope, at our local field in the past 3 years, interest in the helis and attendance has gone down dramatically, probably from 35 to 40 guys down to about 10. I think it is nationwide for sure. That's very sad, Barry. This is why we're trying to push this keep RC helis alive type of thing.
Yep.
to keep them alive. So whatever you guys can do to promote, that would help.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
Charles Carrington Sr., are you guys coming back to Virginia for the spring fling?
He's never been there. I will be there.
You're stupid. Hello?
Why? I love that place.
I went 2 years ago.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, that's right. You did.
Hello?
You
Casey.
did.
It was a good event. I like that event.
They're awesome.
But
They're
as
awesome.
we mentioned in first episode, the traveling's a little harder now for both of us than it is. But we would like to.
I'm definitely coming. I love that place. Yeah,
Casey's
awesome.
If I can get away, I'd love to.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there, Charles. Casey's awesome. His dad is awesome. I'll bring my ATV and run the ATV down his property. It's freaking awesome.
But just don't roll it this time. And break
I won't
your arm
roll
again.
it. I didn't roll it last time.
But you can sit in the passenger seat.
No,
and break your right arm this time, and then it evens out.
No way. Robert Monty, Bobby was there. Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Bobby was at the event.
See, got you, Robert. I know what's going on.
So, Bobby, again, what happened with Smack Talk? We just quit. Why? Because we're lazy?
No, we already discussed this. Hello? You were on your phone. I discussed it, and you were on your damn phone
You just
the whole
said that
time.
we ran out of topics. That's not enough of an excuse.
I think it's a good excuse. We honestly ran out of topics for compelling hour-long videos. And if there's more, then sure, we can do more. But I think as of right now, unless there's a really good topic, and I would say we'd have to have 3 or 4. Wouldn't you agree? 3, 4, 5 episodes in a row. And then we can film those episodes and release them. So if there's topics out there, I'm down. I'm down to do them. So it really just depends.
Jarrett Watson. Hey, gents. Obviously, helis are, it's a tough market to survive in. What advice would you give a young pilot dreaming of being sponsored pilot for a living?
Stay in school.
Absolutely.
Don't do it. You're not going to make it. No one makes it.
So
the market's not there.
It's funny, though, because this is a great freaking question, and maybe this should be an episode we do in the future. So how many people in the whole world, Bobby, you think in the last 20 years, in the whole world have made a living out of RC helicopters?
Living at home or living on your own?
Living on your own, made a full living out of just being a sponsored pilot.
Like a really good pilot. I would say less than 5 to 10.
Who? Zabo?
Alan Zabo, Curtis Youngblood.
Mm-hmm. Jason Krause?
No, because he helped test and develop stuff.
Yeah, he did. But he did make a living out of helicopters as a pilot.
Sure. Todd Bennett.
But
he also taught classes.
Scott Gray.
Yeah, but he also designed.
Absolutely.
So as you see here, but I designed.
Me?
You have your own products and designed.
Before the products.
And promoted. And so as you're
so
seeing
you're
here,
talking about 7 to 8 people worldwide.
Matt Bodos.
Matt Bodos.
But he has his own product. Right. He sells his own products.
You're talking to between 5 and 8 people worldwide that ever made a living strictly out of helicopters. And not all of them made a living just because they were sponsored or they were flying. They made a living because they contributed in some other way, either designing stuff or coming up with new ideas or promotional stuff or R&D or something else.
Right.
I had a decent salary with SAB. I can't complain. I was one of the very lucky few in the whole world that made my living.
It afforded this.
I afforded that. I was one of the very few lucky ones in the world that made a living out of RC helicopters. But it wasn't just flying. It was flying. It was doing dealer support and distributor support, and it was designing stuff, and it was R&D and testing. It was a lot of different things.
But for just pilots, people who twisted the sticks and only twisted the sticks and got paid to do it, not many. But I would say this. I'll definitely say this. If you're listening at home and you've got a kid who's interested in doing the RC helis, get them into it and get them as involved as possible. Get them sponsored. Travel around the world with them. Have them learn to design, because the cool thing about RC helis is it's just a big mechanical assembly. And if you can learn to design or build or work on RC heli, you can do a car, you can do a rocket ship, you can do a drone, you can do a lawnmower, and it teaches you really good fundamentals in engineering. I would agree. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, 100%. So see, Barry Pope is saying Matt Bodos. Sure, Matt Bodos, but...
And Ron Lund here. But they sold stuff.
But see, Matt Bodos never made a living out of being a sponsored pilot.
Right.
He made a living out of being involved in R&D, developing,
And had
testing,
his own products.
building, and he did a great job at that. He still does to this day. But we're talking about people that are sponsored,
Right.
like the Kyle Staces of the world, the Alan Zables of the world.
Kyle lives at home. Doesn't
Kyle
count.
still lives at home. People that made a living strictly out of flying and nothing else, forget it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It
The money's
happened
not
to-
there. The money's not there.
No, it happened to 2 or 3 in the whole world in the last 20 years.
Yep.
It will not happen to anybody else in the next 20 years, period. Not strictly flying. No way.
I kind of agree with that.
Actually, Dahl is making a living out of flying.
But he helps test and he travels. Yeah.
Yeah, Dahl is an exception, though. He's a very lucky dude. Excellent pilot, no question about it. But those days are kind of gone, long gone. I feel like today, for any kid that is aspiring to become a sponsor pilot, don't think that this is going to pay your bills or your rent.
Stay in school, dude.
Stay in school.
Or learn a trade that makes money, but have your background in RC helis, because RC helis will teach you so much, like so much. So definitely stay into that. Once again, on Facebook Live here at Bert RC, if anyone wants to come in and ask some questions, we're just going to take another 2 or 3 questions, and then that's about all we got. We're a little over our hour mark here. Mr.
John
Cameron.
Reyes, is that a Thigh Master?
That is a Thigh Master. That is correct, John. And if you're lucky enough,
Yeah.
Bert's going to sign this Thigh Master and send it to you after he's done with it tonight.
John, send me a message on my Facebook. I'll
so
send you
where is Mr. Wing? We would like to have Mr. Wing on. So Oliver, or Olivier.
I'll send
Fernandez.
John-
Mr. Fernandez. Where's Mr. Wing? We're going to get him on here. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We'll get
we
him.
are.
He's down. He's a few minutes down the road. We'll definitely get him.
John, we'll get you a Keep RC Helis Alive t-shirt. Send me an email or a message on Facebook.
Yeah, we can.
He guessed it. It's a Thigh Master.
It is a Thigh Master. That is absolutely correct.
Polo. Bring Pinion for an interview. I don't know.
He's
Pinion's
out of
been
it.
MIA.
He's a airline pilot, a 747 pilot. Did you know that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
John Johnson.
Yeah, he is.
Nice guy.
He is. Super nice guy.
I like
yeah.
him. I miss him. I miss him. He's a good dude.
You know what we should do? We should do an episode about this kind of stuff. This is cool. Just answer people questions. But it needs to be like constructive. We'll think about it.
Yeah,
we'll
can.
think about something.
We can. But yeah, I think so. Once again, just some last questions trickling in here. I haven't really seen anything that we haven't covered yet. But so you want to call it? You see anything good? I don't know how to scroll back in the questions.
I think we're all good.
I can try to.
Let's call it quits. We're done. We're over time.
I think we've had enough here. So we're a little over an hour. So once again, as you see, super formal here at the SmackTalk RC podcast, and we're gonna keep it this way, as formal as possible. So if you guys like this, once again, please, social media is our friend. You have to help us out here. If we see the numbers, then we can if 2 people listen to it, we can certainly continue to do this. But
I agree.
It gives us that warm, fuzzy feeling if we see people are enjoying
And
it.
this is
and
easier
sharing
than
it.
doing the videos, Bobby. We
Oh
can
my
sit down and do
goodness.
this and
Yeah.
like have a little traguito in between, and we're
Yes.
fine. But the video was a lot of work. So.
Yeah, the video was a lot more back end work. I can do like like once we shot it, then the editing.
Oh my God,
But we
yeah.
can upload one of these things in 10 minutes, so it's really really nice. So once again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. It's been a good time today. So I think
Tell people how to get a hold of you.
it's okay. Okay, so that's great. Yeah. So if you
Are you
want to find
accessible?
I am accessible. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Bobby Watts Heli.
Nice.
And how about you?
Facebook.com/BertRC, BERTRC.
And if you go to Facebook, I think it's at SmackTalk RC. If
I
you
think
want
it's
to like that.
Facebook.com/SmackTalkRC.
Yeah. So if you want to like that page or something, then we'll keep putting this out. For those of you who saw us live, this episode's going to be released in a week, 2 weeks,
Couple
3
weeks.
weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
We try to get a few in. So we're going to stagger them a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you can find this on iTunes. On podcasts. So if you have iTunes, you can just so in case you guys don't know, you can tell your friends. If you're listening on your iPhone right now, you can, even if you have a PC, you can download iTunes for free. And then in that, you can go to podcasts and you can find this on the podcast.
If you have
on
a
the PC.
Windows machine, you open up software, you literally just go to smacktalkrc.com/ feed.
Yep.
And you can automatically set up your computer to download the podcasts or to warn you about a new release automatically through the feed.
Or if you're completely old school, you just go to smacktalkrc.com, find the latest episode, hit the button. You can play it through our website.
Play it through the website.
So we try to make it pretty accessible here.
Yeah, hit the play button.
So once again, thank you guys for listening. This has been the SmackTalk RC podcast. And my name is Mr. Bobby Watts, and I'm here with my good friend
Bert Camber.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you for listening.
We'll see you later.
Yep.
It's been fun.
Goodbye.
See ya.